Hey guys, Matt here from Cast Revive. We took last week off to be with our friends and family during that tragedy that happened here in Orlando. We are an Orlando-based podcast, so just know we are with you, and our hearts and prayers go out to everyone that was affected. Together, we will overcome this. We are Orlando strong. Yes! Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Cast Revive, your weekly top 5 VGM podcast. I'm your host, Matt Heimerl, and here with the man that danced with the devil down to Georgia, Mr. Brian Husky. Hi. We are doing an episode on Warcraft. Not World of Warcraft like we did previously. People are like, those guys already did that episode. Why did they do another one? No, because the Warcraft episode, or the Warcraft movie was just released. So we're going to play some tracks and talk about the original Orcs and Humans, the Microsoft DOS game that came out back in '94. And we're also going to talk a little bit about Warlords of Draenor, since the two kind of go hand in hand with the movie, right?
So we're still going to talk about World of Warcraft?
So we will kind of talk about Warcraft, but in our defense, on the World of Warcraft episode, we did not talk about Draenor.
Not for very much.
We didn't pick any tracks from Draenor.
That's true.
So legally, we're in the clear. Our fans cannot hold us to any of that. So what are we're opening with, let them listen to it for a second, see if our listeners can guess if this is the new Warlords of Draenor or if this is the original Orcs and Humans. Brian, do you have a guess?
I'm looking at the computer right now, and I'm thinking this is probably Draenor?
You're correct. This is the 8-bit version of Draenor. No. This is Warcraft Orcs and Humans. And this game was my first RTS.
Yeah?
My first RTS, yes.
Not a Command & Conquer?
Nope. This was the first one for me. And interesting because I can still remember when I purchased it, I still have the box, I still have the manual, and I still have the disc for this original game.
I did not know that.
And yeah, I remember when I bought it, I was flying. We were flying somewhere. I don't remember exactly where it was. But I was flipping through the manual just reading it. Like, I can't wait to get home and play this game. And, you know, back then, you get a new game, especially like a computer game, and it takes, 5.5 hours to install on Microsoft DOS and everything like that. It's great. But it was a CD, so it did go past the 3.25-inch floppy disk, which was exciting. Because at the time, you look very perplexed over there.
I'm hearing all this for like the first time. I had this game, but I was... I guess such a child that I didn't know how it got onto my computer.
Yeah.
Because, obviously my dad installed it back then, but...
Well, I haven't played this game since it came out. I probably got it. I'm assuming I probably got the game when it was released, so, easily 20 years since
95, I would have been 11. 95?
You were probably...
Am I mathing right?
You are mathing right.
11? Yeah, let's just go with 11.
I was 35 when this game came out. This is great. So, the storyline. We're going to talk a little bit about the movie first.
You want to talk about the movie first?
I do.
Okay.
I just want to skadoosh it a little bit because the movie was fantastic. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
If you are a fan of the Warcraft series, I think you're going to love it. If you know nothing about it and you go to see it, I can see how the critics got to these opinions about it being like, hey, absolutely, it's the new generation of Battlefield Earth or Battlefield Earth. I think the one with John Travolta. That was like the worst movie ever made, next to like Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Battlefield Earth.
Yeah, it was actually really bad. But this movie, what I thought was actually really good.
I can see where critics would be like, okay, it's like typical fantasy knights doing stuff and bad guys doing also stuff. But critics aren't fans of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So of course they're gonna think that.
And I mean, and they made this movie for the fans. They're not making it like let's get a whole bunch of people who have nothing to do with the game. Let's just get people like, no, we're making this movie for the fans. It's been 10 years or whatever they've been in development. Yeah. So we're not going to do any spoilers or anything like that, but I do want to talk about just the very beginning which is why we decided to go with orcs and humans, is they're kind of setting up what is going on. You see a human and an orc kind of like pacing in a circle, getting ready to fight each other.
Yeah.
And you see the dueling flag in the middle. And if you played World of Warcraft, you know exactly what that looks like. So right out the gate, like you're just like, this movie is for me, because they have just these little subtle things that are in there, and it was just great. And like I said, like that's kind of the beginning of orcs and humans, the original Warcraft game. So we thought it was a real nice. We're like, you know what, we got to do an episode on this, because I've always wanted to talk about the earlier Warcraft games, and so this was definitely a good way to do it. There's a cat on the table. Hey, kitty. So you had some experience with this game, but not.
I played I played as much as I had attention for it.
Right.
I think I played 2 a little bit more, and then 3 a lot more than both. So.
Right. The cool thing about these games is that, I mean, you see how simplistic they were back in the day as compared to now. Like, there wasn't that much to do. You build a base, you build an army, you destroy the enemy, but like there wasn't as much. I mean, there was resource gathering, but
yeah, you had to have farms, right?
I don't think you had to have fun. I think you just had to have lumber and gold.
Oh, okay.
I think that's all you had to do. It's been so long. Problem is, if I put the disc in right now, my computer would probably just laugh at me. And
I know you did need lumber, because that's always been like a big thing.
But the most fun I had with it, though, was obviously competing against people over like local networks and stuff like that, playing against friends. Those are always the most fun in these kind of games. Playing against a computer only. The story mode was not very long in this game, but the multiplayer in these games is always the most memorable.
I think that's true, especially from Blizzard ones. I mean, I don't know that I played a lot of RTS against other people outside of StarCraft,
right,
and Warcraft 3.
Yeah,
because I just lost in the first minute.
Warcraft 3, I beat Warcraft 3. I loved it, but my main thing was the tower defense.
Oh, God,
online tower defense.
We made one.
We did. We made
a
one.
Whole tower defense.
We used to have really big LAN parties back in the day, and we spent an entire LAN literally building our own tower defense map. And I had Heimrall's dojo, and I had all Pandurans, and it was awesome. It was really, really fun. So,
I gave my save Kael'thas and Medivh, so I was just pretty happy.
Medivh was cool in the movie too.
Oh, he was really cool.
I thought he was cool. I like the actor that played him. And
who is that guy?
I know him from
Ben Foster.
Yeah, I know him from The Punisher.
From the Did he play a villain?
No, he played the guy that had the piercings all over him.
Yeah,
it was the girl who played in the X-Men movie, whatever her name. I'm horrible with names.
Yeah.
It was the big guy who was the comedian, and then it was the other guy who was like the gamer, or had like all the piercings, and he was tortured, had all the stuff ripped out of his face.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awful.
That was him.
John Travolta?
He's the villain.
He's the villain.
Yeah.
Didn't he get like dragged away by a car?
Yeah, at the very end.
Jesus.
He's like, no. But Ben Foster, I think, is also Angel. I think, didn't he play Angel in the X-Men movies when Angel made an appearance? I think that was him as well.
Oh,
Could be wrong. Correct me on that. We'll do an X-Men episode eventually. And we'll come back to that then. So just
let's not get into that horrible X-Men game.
So let's move on. I mean, we're going to be jumping back and forth between games.
We are.
But Warlords.
What
is your thoughts on the Warlords expansion? And I want a realistic.
It's my second favorite expansion.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I put it above Lich King, and I know that's sacrilege. The thing is, okay, you can say, like, all right, I like this game, the Lich, because of the storyline or whatever. You know? Like, yeah, it did have really impressive story. It's also the first one, so the further away you get from Lich King, the more immersive I felt the story got, not counting Cataclysm per se. Because I feel like they did a lot of work with the dungeons in Cataclysm.
Right.
And for me, it was a little overdone.
Okay.
When you got to, like, Pandaria, it was overdone, but I kind of felt that was the point of it, because you can't do Pandaria without having, like, a lot of humor.
Right.
So, like, that's the way that the storyline was for me for Pandaria. It was, like, very humorous. And then when you get to Warlords, everything gets serious. Like, everything, like, you don't have, like... I don't even know what was going on in Cataclysm dungeons, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you went from Warcraft to Cataclysm, and you had just, like, weird creatures that you've never seen before. You had a lot of, like, elements that weren't really brought up prior to World of Warcraft.
Right.
I mean, they were only brought up prior to World of Warcraft. You hadn't seen them in the game before, like the sunken place, the place that you like a lot.
The depths of Ashir. And
like, you weren't hearing about that, you know?
Right.
Like, you had the Lich King was in the forefront for so long. Even, like, when you were in Burning Crusade, you're like, when are they going to get to Arthas?
Right.
And then after him, like, the story of Warcraft just goes away. But I think they brought it back in Draenor. I think they did a really good job with doing the whole parallel world thing, because that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't say that, they just retconned the thing. Like, no, they
went back
two
in time.
things. Yeah. So
no,
I don't know. That's where it is for me.
No,
I really enjoyed it.
I can agree. I think from a storyline perspective, Warlords is fantastic. I think it had some of the best lore. It really let you delve into some of these characters that you only knew in passing and the names, but you really got to see
by reading those books.
Yeah. I mean, and even like and just they touched upon it in the very first Warcraft game in '94. So, but I mean, to really go in depth of it, you just know, all right, they made a portal, they came over and started, wanted to take over Azeroth. But who were these people? Who was leading them? You hear about these names, but then Warlords comes out, and you're just like, now I get to see, like, exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
So, from a storyline perspective, I give it an A+. I think it was great. The thing that killed it for me was the stupid garrison.
But you didn't have to do that, right?
You did.
You didn't, though.
I mean, if you didn't, like, you weren't going to get access to a lot of quests.
A lot of gold.
I mean, you weren't going to, I mean, if you're a crafter, you pretty much had to have it. If you wanted to get the followers and get equipment and get all these, and get a shipyard and get all this gear, you needed to have it.
My argument against that is that you play World of Warcraft for the dungeons. So you could have just done dungeons. I mean, I don't think you have to use your garrison for maybe just a smidge just to get these quests done.
But see, the thing is that it wasn't the first time I did it.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was having to do it on every single character.
They got you hooked.
Get the followers again on it. See, I was talking about this to a buddy of mine, and we were like, "All right, if you got all the followers on, like, your main guy, like he is the captain or the general of this city, you have an alt. You're just like, okay, I can give you some of these followers to help you out, but they have to be like your level." To where it's like, okay, I don't have to do the quest and get all these things over again. But then on the other side of that, it's like each character is like, that character is the general in the story. Your character is supposed to be the one that helps turn the tide and stuff like that. So I can understand where, like, that wouldn't really work. But it was just so tedious to have to do that stuff all over and every alt.
Yeah, I do think that they had a little bit of an oversight. And, like, they should have made it account wide, right?
Yeah,
that's
what I thought.
At least the followers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe they couldn't because they wanted you. So, like, if you had alts, right, you could only put 2 or 3 crafting buildings in your garrison.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't want to have, like, okay, 1 garrison per account or per server, I guess.
Yeah.
But then, like, so now you have, like, a tailor on a character who's an enchanter and a jeweler, a jewel crafter. So.
Yeah, I mean, you can switch them out whenever you want. It should have been like, I bought all the plans, I have everything, so if I want to switch these out, I can. I mean, I have them all purchased, and I don't know. I mean, I could
They're
be
obviously going for realism. That
yeah, obviously, but that was really my only issue, and then I finally found the character that I love playing, which is the druid. It took me freaking 12 years, I think, to finally find the class that I absolutely love to play. So
it's so surprising to me.
I know.
Other than the heal, obviously, like, you play a healer, it's like, to me, you can't go wrong. Like, I like healing on anything except priests.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
The fact that you want to tank is just, it's startling.
Well, we'll see. I'll probably do the first dungeon and realize that this is no. There's no way I'm doing this. People are horrible.
You'll have one person call you out one time. You'd be like, I can't tank.
People are just horrible. People are horrible. I hate doing pickup groups because it's just people are just, if you don't know what you're doing immediately, watch a video on how the dungeon's supposed to be done.
Yeah, those players need to lighten up.
No, man, I want to experience it. I want to die. I want to figure it out on my own.
Yeah.
And I can't deal with that kind of mentality. Everything has to be rushed. Everybody has to be perfect all the way through. You're not doing a mythic raid here. You're doing the first dungeon in the new expansion. I'm not spoiling this,
Yeah.
So, eat a bag of chips.
Eat a bag of chips. Did you quest at all in Draenor?
Yep.
In Warlords?
Yep. I did. On what character? On my monk.
On your monk.
Because my monk was my first 100.
Okay.
So
That's right,
I
you
did
play
all
monk,
the
yeah.
questionnaires on my monk. I didn't do hardly any on my druid because I just queued because I was a
Oh
healer.
yeah, because
So
you only need to quest through the place one.
Yeah.
Did you do all the zones?
I did all the zones, yes, but I did not have the flying mount, so I refused to do all that stuff.
Oh, it's so easy.
Well, everybody says that, but looking at it, it looks very difficult.
You say it comes down to dailies. You just got to do a bunch of dailies.
Yeah.
Which is always the worst part about World of Warcraft.
Yeah. But once Legion comes out, they'll probably give it to us free. So it tends to happen. Like, no one's going to be in Draenor anymore, so we'll just give it to them.
What do you think the daily quest in the Warcraft movie would have been?
Daily quest in the Warcraft movie. I would have said probably like a reconnaissance.
Reconnaissance?
Yeah.
Like you go see what's up on the orcs, or
Yeah.
if you're an orc, you go see what's up on
every
the
day you
the
have to see
humans.
if they're advancing or if they're building more. Because once they went out there and scouted it out before they were caught and stuff like that, I could see it like each day somebody has to go out, scout it, and not get caught and fill out a map and sign some names. And
Do you think orcs clean? They probably don't.
I don't
right?
think so. I think they enjoy
'Cause
the slop.
They had like tents and stuff, and you didn't see them like overly filthy, but I guarantee you they didn't.
They
like,
were
wash
very
their
clean
dishes.
orcs. They were very clean orcs.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they just swim a lot. Maybe.
Maybe they swim a lot.
Well,
therefore their house
when
gets
they came through the
cleaned.
portal, they did come out through the lake, so they were all clean.
What are we talking about? Did I? I went on a weird tangent.
We just tangented right. No, you were talking about what would the daily quest in the movie be?
Yeah, I would be interested to hear like feedback on that, because to me that's like 10% of WoW is getting your dailies done.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And when once like the dailies first start, you're all pumped up, and like 4 months later, and you're just like, "Come on, man, enough."
Yeah.
Like this is like I've always been an alt person, but now I'm just like I have one.
You can.
character.
Like,
I have
you
one-
really
I
can.
I can't do it.
Because like to me, like if you're playing an alt, I'm like, oh, I'm not getting that daily done on my main. Should probably go take care of that.
Yeah,
And then 3 hours later, you're like, I should probably go to bed.
yeah.
And then 2 hours later, you're like, I gotta go to
I
work
gotta
in
go
3
to work.
hours.
Yeah, exactly. This sucks. Screw it. I'm up this late. Might as well just keep going.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You didn't get that with Orcs versus Humans. It was pretty much like, I'm going to do this last campaign and then I can't play this anymore.
Yeah. But speaking of that, I mean, it was the story in that game and the way you did it was really cool because, like, obviously, like, the Orc campaign and the Human campaign were very, very different. All the buildings aesthetically, like, for a game that's that old, it was very good graphics, and there was a clear difference between the two in terms of how they fought, how they looked, and everything. So
And the Orcs won. I mean,
yeah,
maybe I was just so young, but like the bad guys didn't win.
yeah,
And like in Orcs versus Humans, it wasn't like you had. Maybe you did. I can't remember, but I didn't think you had Duratan like being like, "No, we can't do this to the human world." Like the orcs are just evil.
Yeah.
And then you had the humans were like, "Orcs are evil," but they lost. So,
humans,
thus starting the reign of the Horde.
which is Cash Revive is for the Horde. Just so everybody knows. Minus Steve. I know Steve's Alliance, but we love Steve.
Yeah. He's still having a hard time tanking with his paladin. So.
We love you, Steve.
Love you, Steve.
So yeah, I miss those old RTSs. I kind of want to like. I would not be surprised if Blizzard eventually, because I think I read that like a new Command and Conquer is being made. Like, they don't have really any other than StarCraft.
Well, yeah, but that was like
There really aren't like any RTSs that are. Stronghold is my favorite, like the medieval RTS. That's my favorite RTS of all time.
Well,
there's
there's Warhammer, which is like
True.
huge into the RTS spectrum, and then there was what was that Legion? League of Nations. League of Nations.
League of Nations.
Which was, I mean, not that big, but it was another, like, supposed to turn around RTSs. And then you had the one that was, like, it had the giant mechs in it. Do you remember that one?
The Mech Warrior one?
No, it wasn't Mech Warrior. It was, like...
There was a Mech Warrior RTS, though, wasn't there?
Maybe?
I want to say there was a Mech Warrior RTS.
Maybe it was called Mech Warrior Tactics.
Maybe that actually sounds like it's something it may have been.
To the Goog.
To the Goog. What was I going to say? I was going to say something really intelligent.
I had probably messed it up for you. I'm sorry.
Dang it, I can't think of what it was now. Anyway, but yeah, Warcraft. Go play it.
Did you? Okay, so if they had done the garrisons in Draenor as mini campaigns, Warcraft 1 style, would you have liked them better?
Yes, absolutely. If they had made a mini like they did with the Plants vs. Zombies, they did a little mini game, and if they had done an Orcs and Humans like RTS style, building it, and you had to complete a mini campaign to do it, that would have been awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Supreme Commander, by the way, was the one I was thinking of with the giant mechs.
Supreme Commander, okay.
But, yeah, when they first announced the details of Draenor and they said, like, yeah, you're going to get to build your own garrison, you're going to get to recruit followers, I was thinking, like...
We were going to build...
I was going to build all those things. Sweet, now I'm going to, like, you know, put a fortress over here and send out these troops, and it's going to mess with the Alliance in that territory or something. But... in that aspect, garrisons were a complete letdown.
Yeah.
What they did let me do is play Suikoden in World of Warcraft, so that's pretty cool.
And they did have that jukebox.
They did have that sweet jukebox. I can listen to Totems of the Grizzlemaw.
Nice.
In my garrison all day long.
Yeah, I mean, I was really expecting a little bit more freedom in the garrison building because it's like this is your base of operation. Like, okay, I can make mine look unique.
Yeah.
To other than just you can put a flag like that you want. That's really all. That and a statue, like that's really the only difference.
They should have let you settle in like any territory, right. So like you could have one set up in Gorgrond. You know, that's where I would have picked to set up.
No, that's it. That's absolutely right. If you had to complete all the quests in an area and do maybe a quest chain and be like, okay, you've conquered this area. Do you want to move your base or build something in those areas? It would have encouraged people. I think that's actually would have been a really good idea.
That would just, like, to me, I was like, okay, so now to see a different garrison, I have to make an Alliance character because obviously theirs is going to be really different.
Yeah, very different.
But like for story purposes, right? If you're Alliance, you set up, if you're Alliance, you set up in Shadowmoon Valley because that's where all the Draenei hunker down, and if you're Horde, you settle in Frost Shardland.
I was going to say Shalazar Basin, but that's in
icy frost stuff.
I gotcha.
You know where I'm talking about because that's where the Frostwolf Orcs are
right.
So, and they don't like anything that's
going
on
with
Grommash
and
the Iron Horde. The Iron Horde, right? That's what they're called.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think that after that, you should have had like a foot, and then you should have been able to decide, is like, do we want to sit here with the Frostwolf Orcs, or do we want to go to Gorgrond and be with the Laughing Skull tribe, or do we want to go to Karabor and be with the Funky Mud Drinker tribe? I can't remember.
I want to be a member of that tribe. Those dudes are funky and they drink mud.
Like, it just wouldn't have been a stretch to say, like, any major outpost for the Alliance that you can replace it with your garrison.
Right.
So I just thought, it was a little bit of an oversight with the...
And I still never figured out how to visit a friend's garrison. I still never got that achievement.
Right-click your portrait and say, visit leader's garrison. You have to be not the leader.
That's probably
and you like taking the lead, so I think that's
probably why we died so much.
That's where you're missing out. So, in Warcraft 1, on paper you had a bunch of characters, but they didn't really get developed, right? Like, you got to see what they got up to in the game, but you didn't really know. Like, do you feel like you have any more insight to those characters after playing Draenor?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because, like, they talked, only thing, they didn't really make they didn't really give many names. In this, you learn about, like, a warlock that comes over. So they're not, they didn't talk about, very specific. So now, like, when Draenor came out, you're just like, wait a minute, those are those characters that they were talking about. Now I can put a name to it, and I could put like a face to it. So, you know, it was very basic back then. You know, it's just funny. I was thinking, it's like, little did Blizzard know what they were making when Warcraft Orcs and Humans came out. Like the massive enterprise that would be. That would soon to follow, you know, and just create one of the most beloved online games of all time. And now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people who hate this game, but you know, you can't knock its success and what it's done to the online community.
Well, the way I remember it going down is that they were developing a game for the people that do Warhammer Games Workshop, and they didn't like it. So they canceled it, and then Warcraft said, well, fine, we have all these resources, we're just going to do our own thing. I don't know if that's credible, but that's
that, you know, that actually does sound very familiar.
We'll just go with that being as true.
I'm looking through my notes real quick to see if it says anything about that.
In Orcs vs. Humans, you did have Lothar, Garona. You had all the central characters to Draenor. The Warcraft movie. So you have Medivh.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I don't know. I thought Gul'dan was mentioned in it. Gul'dan.
That jerk.
We got to see a lot of him lately.
Yeah. But it's just great that, like, I like when stories go back to the beginning. You know, yeah. I really do. And I would, like, I can't remember who I was talking to this about, but, like, because, you know, it was like, okay, what else can Warcraft do? You know, like, how much longer can it last? And I could see them going all the way back to the beginning and starting over. Like, because, like, you think Legion, they went back to kind of stop this takeover. So you think that, wouldn't this change the world back to the way it was? So they could theoretically build the game all the way over again and start from the beginning point, you know, and go vanilla. Be like, all right, you wanted the game like it was, we're giving it to you. Now we're going to start over again. I think people would lose their shit. I think they would. It would be like, oh my God, you're taking me back to the original vanilla, old school WoW, and you're letting us start over, like, with your new updated graphics, your new stuff. I think that would be a way to just breathe new life into this game.
Don't you think that would be like a server experiment at first, though?
Absolutely.
Like, you could say that, okay, like, you completed Warlords, you did a whole bunch of stuff to the time thing, and now when you come back through the Dark Portal, you have the option to play on this server or whatever, you know, or instancing, and that, like, it's original WoW or whatever.
That would be awesome. I would absolutely love it if the world got to go back. Even though Cataclysm is my favorite expansion, like, hands down,
the one that broke the.
Yeah, I thought Deathwing was a fantastic villain. I loved the cinematics, the music, the areas, and I understand a lot of people saying that it was the weakest expansion, just visually and storyline for me. Like, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So, yeah, but I wouldn't mind seeing all of it reversed, being like going back, because, like, to get that feel of like when we first started playing WoW and seeing the world back the way it was, you'd be like, this is why I started playing the game.
Yeah,
because now it's just like, it's not a bad game, but it's just like, all right, like, what else are they going to do to change? Like, you know, like, I have a feeling if they did that, I think it would make a lot of people happy.
I wonder, like, for someone who's enjoyed so much of the later aspects of WoW, like, I don't know how I would feel about not having pandas and not having, you know, the garrison, and that'd be so weird.
It would be.
Are you talking about, like?
Well, I mean, you'd still have pandas, you still have all that stuff. It's just
getting rid of the dungeon finder.
No. Keep all the current elements of WoW. Okay. Just storyline. You're going back to the beginning of original vanilla WoW. Like, you're like, okay, the world has been changed.
Or further, go back to Orcs versus Humans. Further.
Yeah, I mean, you could go back and be like, you know what? You changed history. Now you get to shape it. So now it's like, how is Azeroth going to mold based on what you guys are doing going forward? New villains will arise, because since, like, you're back in this area that you weren't at before, there's going to be new clashes and new things going on. So I could see that being like, okay, this is the original world, but this is all different now. This is our. I just think that would be cool.
Don't you also like? What's that theory in time travel? Like, don't you grandfather clause yourself? It's like you change a bunch of things, right?
Right.
So because of that change, now your grandfather was never born.
Right.
Therefore, you're never born. Therefore, the time travel never happened. Like the changes never happened.
Right.
That's why I hate time travel.
You just got to ask Medivh to write a clause in there that says that my dude still got down at this
everybody
point, and I'm still
retains
there.
their existence.
Yeah, everyone retains their existence.
We're just gonna change the landscape and a couple of key figures. And also lose all knowledge of the war and the invasion of the orcs.
That's right.
Everybody kosher? All right.
Let's do this. Snaps his fingers.
I like how it's Medivh, too.
Yeah.
Like, that jerk. So, I'm struggling with this.
It would be interesting.
It would be cool.
Write in. Let us know what you think about that.
It would be cool.
Am I a complete asshat for saying that, or was that something that you would be interested in?
I think it would be cool to relive like the Troll Wars and like see a couple things that they've tried to kind of put in, with like that Troll dungeon. That Troll. Do you remember the one?
Troll dungeon.
You killed Zul'jin.
The one in
Amani Warbearer comes from it.
The one
Zul'aman.
The one in Tenaris.
No, the one in
Hinterlands.
The one in Ghostlands.
Ghostlands.
Zul'aman.
Oh,
yeah. It's the raid. It was the raid.
Right.
Like they tried to be like, this is what happened to Zul'jin. I think it'd be neat to like just go. Yeah, I don't know, Matt.
And now he's the leader of the Horde.
Ooh. Well, no, that's somebody else. Who is that guy? Vol'jin.
Vol'jin.
Yeah. It's kind of confusing with all the...
There's Jins. Too many Jins.
3-letter names and then Jin. If they didn't go that route, which they probably won't, after Legion...
Most likely they won't, yes.
What would you think would happen after Legion? What would you like to see?
I don't even know, because I still need to know what's happening in Legion. Like, storyline-wise, I've been trying to keep away from it, like trying to really figure out what is happening in Legion, other than we get an artifact system and there's a new revamped PvP system.
Storyline, no clue.
No, but I like kind of figuring out as we go, because there's people who are playing the beta who have like done everything. I'm like, when the game comes out, like there's nothing new.
To anybody whining about us not doing a Warcraft 1 episode, it's too bad. We got excited about Draenor.
It's true. And this was originally going to be a top 5, but
there's so much we wanted to talk about.
We've gotten so much feedback, both positive and negative, in terms of like the structure of the show and like what way people want us to go with it. Now we're looking into restructuring it anyway. So for the next couple weeks, it's going to be talking.
Expect a lot of this.
Yeah, there's going to be gaming music in there, and we're just we're figuring things out due to your guys' constant feedback, which is great. We love it.
Yeah.
We love the positives. We love the negatives. It's going to help us expand and grow as a project. And we appreciate everything that you guys send us. So please, send it all over. If you like what we're doing, if you don't like what we're doing, tell us why. We want to make sure everyone's having a good time, and that everyone's welcome here. So we're just guys babbling on about video games and music. So it's pretty exciting, and we're honored that we have one person, even just one person listening to us makes my day.
Guy in Montana. We appreciate you.
That's right. You are king. So to get back on point, to answer your question, I do not know where I would think they would go after Legion, because I don't know where they were going to go after Cataclysm. I did not expect they were going to go Pandas, and I did not expect they were going to go really old school with Warlords to do that time travel stuff.
Yeah.
So
I guess it has a lot to do with what does happen in Legion.
Yeah. And what but I don't know. I just stay out of space, please.
Stay out of space. Okay.
Stay on Azeroth. Don't go to another planet, Cuz I can see them I can see Azeroth being like destroyed, and there's like a beam that teleports everyone, when like all the mages in the world get together and transfer.
No, not all the mages, just Medivh.
Just Medivh.
Like, all right, I'm gonna cast teleport another planet, and I wish you all luck.
All the animals got to stay.
Sorry, critters.
Except your battle pets. They can come with you.
Aw, battle pets.
But I don't know.
You need to get into battle pets.
No.
You should do an episode.
I'm not a Pokemon fan, so
Warcraft battle pets versus Pokemon. No?
That would be interesting. But how would we make that work?
My little Terragosa versus Charizard.
Lagosa would win.
I don't know. Charizard can get to level 100.
Charizard's a wuss.
Oh,
They would have to be same level of battling. Those are the rules.
okay. A level 20 Charizard.
And he can't use Fire Breath. So that's banned in Azeroth.
I don't know where I see it going either. Because you got to deal with the undead. I think that's going to be the next big, which then kind of returns to Lich King territory. Because are they still tied to the Lich King?
I would not mind them going back to Lich King and like continuing on with that story. Who took the place of Lich King again?
Bolvar Four Dragon.
So like bring him back into it, like because they left it open ended. Like they could absolutely revisit it. So like, and now with the Warlords thing done, I could absolutely see them going in that direction, and I would not mind that.
Yeah.
I loved but the thing is that, you know, like he's obviously taking place up in that fortress, so he's not gonna be like, all right, I have all this stuff here, let's move to a whole new area and build all from scratch. Like he would. So you'd have to go back to Northrend. There's not much space left on this world. We've been all over the place.
We need a new planet, man.
No.
Azeroth is just a prison for the old gods, right? So if you get rid of all the old gods, then Azeroth is cool, and you can do whatever, including going to Alpha Centauri or whatever the
giant
StarCraft
star
takes place on.
I've never played StarCraft, so
Warcraft versus StarCraft.
Could do that.
There's the next expansion.
You should do Stronghold versus the original Warcraft.
You see a hunter going up against one of those guys that just shoots grenades.
What the hell is this? This isn't fair.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I don't know where they would go from this, but overall, I enjoyed Warlords except for the garrison. I thought that they had some really cool quest chains. I really liked what was his name? The Khadgar. I really liked
Khadgar was cool.
It was really cool how like you start in the first area and he's with you.
Goes
all the way
with
through.
you. Yeah, that was cool.
That was neat.
Pretty cool. You got Duratan with you as well.
Mm-hmm. So some really really cool things that they had, and it all branched off the original game in '94. You know, and you had Warcraft 2, which added sea combat.
Oh,
which
so good.
Absolutely
so
amazing.
Good. Any game that has naval combat, not any game, but most of them.
And then you had Warcraft 3, which introduced the Lich King and Arthas and that whole campaign and the online
and didn't
tower
have
building.
sea combat.
Yeah, and where Heroes of New Earth was born. The MOBA, like originally, or Dota, wasn't that
Dota? Dota came out of Warcraft 3.
So, and then they went from there right into World of Warcraft, and now you got Hearthstone. Now you got Heroes of the Storm,
Overwatch.
You know, Overwatch.
Well, I guess Overwatch has nothing to do with it. Although Tracer is now in Overwatch.
She's in Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm. Tracer was in. She's supposed to be in Overwatch. You
know, Medivh is now in Heroes of the Storm. Now he was just released. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, Medivh is now in there.
Oh, I gotta go play it.
Yeah.
See you, Matt.
So I mean, it just says the power of Blizzard. It's like, all right, we're gonna make a new IP. We're gonna do Overwatch and first-person shooter and see how. And it's like, all right, it's like the most popular.
So what kind of game does Blizzard not have? Because they have a trading card game.
They don't have a Sims game.
They don't have a Sims game.
Living with the Orcs, Blizzard Edition.
Thrall has leveled up his laundry skills.
Work. Comes home, dinner.
He comes home and just says dinner.
That'd be great.
He took a job at the office. He's got like a shirt and tie on.
Yeah, he's in like a little cubicle just like slamming his head on the keyboard.
My boss has been on my ass all week. It's not how Thrall sounds. Sorry, Chris Metzen. Destroy your character like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have an RTS. They have an MMO. They have a card game. they have a first-person. Blizzard has a first-person
Mm-hmm.
shooter. They could use like an RPG.
They could use an yes. They need an RPG,
That would be cool.
like a traditional turn-based JRPG.
Yeah,
Developed by Blizzard North America.
that would be cool, and it would be
Would be
popular.
cool. I think it would.
Like
be.
I mean, like Lord of the Rings did when they did the movie. And they did the Third Age.
Yeah.
You know, like that was really cool. So I could see them not doing it with the Warcraft movie, but I mean, you could easily make an RPG out of the Warcraft lore.
Yeah, you probably could.
You know,
I mean, granted, it is an MMORPG, which is like, the evolution of the RPG.
yeah, but I mean, just to have like some no-name characters like going through like, all right, like you're going to this town, you're like, hey, look, I'm in Stormwind now, and I'm in Goldshire, and let's go to Orgrimmar and get some steak on a stick. Like
I think we went the wrong way. You could have a Warcraft racing game.
that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Combine like Mario Kart and the Jedi racing.
Wheelcraft. Yeah.
Wheelcraft.
If they
That
don't
would
make
be
a-
the name too.
They need to make a racing game. Blizzard.
You would have Zeppelins. You would have like all the mounts that you could like.
And it
that
would
you
be
could
just like Heroes of the Storm. You just have everybody in there, Raynor on his little motorcycle and the Lost Vikings on their little Viking
The
boat.
Lost Vikings Ultimate is hilarious. That
It is
freaking
pretty
boat.
good.
That is funny.
It's pretty good. What is that Blizzard game with Kid Commando?
Commander Keen.
Commander Keen.
Commander Keen.
They need to do a remake of Commander Keen.
I have all the games on my Steam account.
Is that an invite?
Yes, it is. You
Thanks.
should play it right now while we're doing it. Just have the bleeps and bloops going in the background. So, I think that's I think this was probably our best episode ever. I love talking about Blizzard, and I love talking about Warcraft. I mean,
know.
there's so much to discuss, and I know there's a lot of people that just absolutely love the property in itself, and it's exciting because in August, the end of August, you have Legion coming out.
Yeah.
You
Which means I won't get my Yeti because I'm not buying a gold whatever run, silver
Yeah.
whatever run.
Don't worry, there'll be another one that comes out. They'll do another Yeti, and this one's going to be like armor plated, wearing like a Yuffie skin, and you're going to be all about it.
If any like fan crafter can make that a Yuffie themed Yeti,
Or if you play,
UT,
if you currently play WoW and you've done the gold challenge runs,
and you want to pick me up,
and you want to take Brian through it, shoot us a message. And
I'm a
let us
good
know.
healer. I put healing rain down. And
What server are we on?
Zul'jin?
Are we on Zul'jin?
I think I'm on Zul'jin.
I'm on,
Doesn't
like-
matter though. They can.
Oh,
run
that's
me through
true.
it.
Yeah,
I don't
shoot
like
us a message. I mean, like, neither of us have done it. So if you're experienced and you want to take a couple, you want to handhold us through some of these runs
for whatever reason.
so we can get it before Legion comes out, let us know.
And we'll mention you on the
we
podcast.
will mention you and give you props, and we'll even invite you in to join us for our Legion episode when we do it.
But you'll have to fly here on your own if you're not local. So.
No, we'll do it over Discord.
Oh, that's right. You don't have to fly anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Discord's amazing.
in closing,
In closing,
who is your favorite Warcraft movie character?
my favorite Warcraft movie character. Good question. Favorite Warcraft movie character probably was
Magni Bronzebeard.
no
Okay.
the main human.
Lothar.
Yeah,
I thought he was really good.
I liked him a lot.
I did too. I didn't think I would because he looks like Paul Rudd.
I can see that.
Paul Rudd meets the guy that played Aragorn.
He had the right he had the right kind of humor that I like,
Yeah.
and he was a badass. Like,
He was a pretty
He
big
was like,
badass.
okay, I'm just gonna like he just. It doesn't matter. He's going up against orcs 5 times his size. He's like, I just don't.
And he
I
knew
don't-
exactly what to do.
Yeah, and
He
I'm
like-
not gonna spoil like what happens that
Yeah.
like involves his character, but like,
Oh, I was. Good thing you said that.
Yeah,
I was
and-
going to throw that at you.
and it was just it was great. I mean, it was a just go see the movie if you haven't. We have a 1-year policy where
Yeah,
we
we're not
try
going to talk
give
about the movie
spoilers.
again for 1 year.
Yeah, so go see it and let us know your thoughts because we here really enjoyed it.
Not a spoiler, but I wanted to say the movie gave me like an idea for a class that I want to see Blizzard do, and
Okay.
that's like the class that lets you use your mount in combat,
Okay.
because that's what they did right in this movie.
Yes.
They used mounts in the way that I thought they should use mounts.
I agree.
And it was awesome.
Especially the Griffin.
Oh, God, that Griffin.
It was awesome.
Makes me want to roll Alliance.
It makes you want to go see the movie again.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, like
what are you doing tonight? You want to see it tonight?
I wish. I got to edit these.
Work.
And then I got to go watch Orange is the New Black. Nothing gaming related.
You can watch it whenever you want.
Ladies in jail, let's go do it. But no, I mean, like, I was surprised. I went in with an open mind, but I was like, all the reviews, I was like, I'm worried it's going to let me down. And it really didn't.
No,
it really didn't. I was more harsh on The Force Awakens when it came out than I was on this movie.
Yeah.
You know,
I
did not fully enjoy Force Awakens until I saw it for the 12th time, and I was like, this movie is absolutely amazing. But Warcraft, when I left, I was pleased. I was very pleased with the outcome, and I hope they do more. I hope they do more. I want to see a Lich King movie. I
do want to see a Lich King movie.
You know?
If they get that far, I mean, we're talking 3 movies to get to him. Two movies.
Unless they're unless they do Tides of War next, the Warcraft 2, and then they move into, like, if they're going, like, in order of the games,
yeah,
you know, you could easily, and if you do that, you're going to see a lot more dwarf.
We should see a lot more dwarf.
They came from behind. They came from.
According to
behind.
Blizz, that was a gnome.
That was a gnome?
Apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I call suspect.
I don't agree.
So if you enjoyed this episode, if you hated this episode, it doesn't really matter, because I want you to tell us on all of our social media.
I was going to say, like, no matter what your opinions are, we're going to keep on chucking.
Send us an email, cashrevive@gmail.com. Look us up on Twitter at cashrevive. We're on Facebook. We have a YouTube channel that keeps saying we're going to be putting content up on. And we're just trying to find the right thing to put. I don't just want to flood useless videos on it just to put videos up. We really want to do some segments, but, you know, investing in proper video equipment and editing software. I tried a lot of the Adobe stuff for the free trials, and I like them. They're expensive.
You're overthinking it. Let's just move in together and start a house cam.
Done.
Next
streamer house.
Look forward to that, guys.
Nice. But most importantly, look us up on GeekStreetStation.com.
That's right.
You can find all of our other our buddies, their projects on there. We got For Geek's Sake, and we got Thirsty Gamers on there as well. We're putting up blog postings and everything. So you can find us on GeekStreetStation.com. So anything else you want to say before we cheese and rice it out of here?
Just that, you know, Geek Street Station is awesome.
Yeah.
Really enjoy a lot of the blogs that are coming out of there.
Yeah. It's
not to toot our own horn, our own collective horn, but I have learned a lot just reading our own stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, that hub covers everything: movies, comics, D&D, video games, I mean, everything that you want under one hub. So if you don't like us, but you really like comics and movies, check out For Geek's Sake. If you really love board games and board game meetups, check out the Thirsty Gamers. We have everything that you need.
If you really like tech and science news, check out the blogs that they're putting up.
Yeah, I mean, we have content going up every day through all 3 of the projects. So there's we have you covered. So yeah.
Last but not least, my favorite movie character.
Oh yeah, I should have asked you that. Sorry.
The Murloc.
The Murloc. Loved it. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.